Attention passengers, this is your conductor speaking. We are about to arrive at the hesitation station. Please mind your step as you enter the station.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hesitation Station podcast. I am your host, Jay, along with my buddy Tank. How you doing, buddy?
I'm trying not to laugh because all I can picture now is that halo on your nose.
That's because I'm an angel.
That's a lie.
So, guys, as you can see, we're repping the Hidden Leaf Village. And do you guys know why? Because we have the Green Beast, the fastest one of them all. Well, technically Guy was fast, but then he got older and stuff. But anyway, we got the Leaf Hurricane creator, right?
Didn't he learn it from Kai Sensei?
Anyway, we got Mr. Brian Donovan, the voice actor of Rock Lee. Bring him on in. Oh, he's muted.
What did you do?
There he goes. I was like, oh.
You had to reset, apparently. What's up?
How you doing?
Yeah, good, boys. How are you?
Doing great.
Good. Can't complain.
Good to see everybody. And to all your fans, hello. Or maybe I should give you the goods. Hold on. I'm the handsome devil of the Hidden Leaf Village. I am Rock Lee. I work hard and I never give up. That is my gift. That is my ninja way. That is your ninja way too. The Hesitation Station, Leaf Hurricane. There you go.
That was
boys.
awesome.
All right, I'm good. I can die.
Yeah, we can go ahead and finish the interview.
Yeah.
I'll talk to y'all later.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Bye. See you. Yeah, you guys you represent, boys. You guys got headbands. Wait, hold on. Maybe I'll do this. Hold on, just for the interview. I'll just put this on my forehead.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
See, it's funny because he came over yesterday and we hung out, and then he left, and then he's like, "Oh, by the way, we have an interview tomorrow," and I was like, "With who?" And then he told me, and I'm like, "You."
Did you swear?
Surprise. Oh yeah, no, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I did.
Yeah, beautiful, man. Well, surprises are good. My 8-year-old hates surprises, but but yeah, it's surprises are good, man. They make the world go round.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was very excited.
I feel like I didn't do very well on the introduction, but I did the best I can without fangirling out.
Nice. Well, I'm thrilled to be here too, boys. So thanks for having me. Thanks for the time. Thanks for all the Naruto, Rock Lee love, and Digimon for anybody that watches Digimon or has. I really appreciate it, man. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, and clearly the joy that the show has brought you and so many others. So we're all thrilled, man. I mean, I don't know if you've heard or seen panels or have had other Naruto guests on the show, but we're all like blown away by the success. I mean, it's as surprising to us as it is to anyone. I mean, 18 years later, we cannot believe the ride that this show has provided for all of us. It's been really crazy. I mean, the fact that I was in Huntsville, very close to you guys, not close enough apparently, but close. It's like, that's amazing. I've gone all over the world really because of this friggin' show. It's crazy.
And you're still going as Lee, right?
Yeah. Still going as Lee. I mean, they just finished recording Boruto. And I was only in Boruto for a spring clean. But there's rumor that there's some cool new stuff coming up. I don't know probably any more than any of the fan, sites that, swirling rumors, but they don't tell us much, but there is some chit chat about something happening. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, but it's been a hell of a run, 18 years later, and We still do a few video games. I still do a few of those, which has been really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It keeps on, keeps it on.
Yeah.
So I had no idea that you were Davis from Digimon.
Yeah, man.
That is
Yeah,
awesome.
I think if you listen close, I mean, some fans come up to me like, "Oh my God, your voice sounded so familiar as Rock Lee," and then I saw that you were Davis, and of course that makes so much sense. And you guys both have that, because they're very similar. And in fact, the producers were kind of looking for that same, that same DNA a little bit with Rock Lee. They weren't sure what they wanted initially, but they knew they wanted someone as positive as like Davis and stuff. And because some of the team had gone over from Digimon to do Naruto, I was on a short list, which is always nice as an actor, as you can imagine. But yeah, Digimon was awesome, man. I mean, I came to that after, I came to it the second year, as you guys know, or the Digimon fans know. And so it was already kind of a big mega hit. And so, my job was just to not blow it, So it was exciting, but it was also, God, I can't blow this, because it's very popular. And but yeah, Davis was a blast, man. It was really fun. Really, really great time. And he was, they're both really fun characters, which is nice. Optimistic, positive, determined, loyal, passionate, energetic, make mistakes. They both make mistakes, usually because of their enthusiasm. but positive characters, which, in this crazy world we live in, that's not a bad thing to be able to play,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I had to, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was on my phone. I was trying to be sneaky, and I was looking at it, and I was like, Davis Digimon. I looked that up real quick, and then I realized who it was. I'm like, oh snap!
Okay. His partner was Beamon.
Yeah, I remember him.
That's right. Yeah, Vimon was a great character, man. And we just in July, I think July 30th, they just came out with, because we recorded back in the spring a bunch of stuff for the uncut version of the Digimon movie. So that was really fun, because a lot of us hadn't been in the booth for those characters in forever, man. I mean, forever and ever. And so it was really fun to kind of reprise that role. And there is some chit chat. I know in Japan right now, there's a 2.0, where Davis and is 20 years old. And so there's chit chat about maybe dubbing that. So we'll see, man. There might be some more Digimon stuff coming up, but yeah, I mean, I think like all these shows, you either love them or you hate them, and I think if you love them, you are a rabid fan, and I think if it does, or even characters, right? You could love a show and hate a character. Plenty of people think Rock Lee's annoying as anything, and I get that, but he also grows on you too. I know a lot of people that flip. They're like, oh man, Rock Lee was so annoying when he first came on the scene, and then he became my favorite character, So yeah, it's kind of funny watching people's take on shows, characters, what they love about it, what they hate about it.
That's how it was for me. My favorite's Choji. And
oh yeah,
I despised Rock when he first came in, but he grew on me. And then I know you probably get this a lot, but the tuning exams when he took off the weights, hands down, best episode in my opinion.
Boom.
Yeah, man. Yeah, talk about a mic drop. Yeah, no, I mean it was. Yeah, I mean I think. Look, even I was blown away when we recorded that. It was pretty early on. It's only like, I think that arc, the tuning and the Gara fight is like 48, episode 48, 49, 50 or something like that. And, it takes place, in like 3 episodes. But I mean, even I knew, even though it was pretty early on, that like, oh, wow, this is special. I mean, and we watched it, the director, the producers, the editor at the time, we watched it in real time. She's like, you got to see this, because this is like, it's crazy. It takes the whole show and your character, especially to a whole nother level. And so we just watched Japanese, in real time. And I was like, wow. And just like a fan watching it, I was like, amazing, and yeah, I'm super proud of that. I mean, I think Rock Lee's iconic because of that fight in Gara, of course. And I'm very grateful, because I think, had that fight not been so epic, Rock Lee would have been, just another kind of subsidiary character. And, he would have had some love from a few people, but that fight, I think, won a lot of people over, that were like, oh, this dude's goofy and weird.
but
and
strong.
but
Well,
strong,
Yeah.
strong,
between
fast.
that one and the one with Kimimaro, where he ended up being a master of drunken fist,
Yeah, the drunken fist, man. I know those two fights, iconic. Well,
I
it's fun
died
too
laughing.
because, yeah, I mean, it's those two fights are still, I think, as rankings go, they're still up there, man, and fan
Yeah.
favorites for all of anime. So, like, that's pretty fun. It's fun to be, have been a part of something so iconic. Yeah, and it's easy. I mean, it's probably repetitive also, but when people ask me, oh, what's my favorite part? Like fans, those are two of my favorite parts. They're great stories and great story arcs, and of course, the Gara fight, because Rock Lee got hurt and ultimately lost. Even though it's disappointing to lose, I think it really sets up this incredible kind of journey for Rock Lee, and all the things that the fans really appreciate about him is that that perseverance and tenacity and determination to get better. And even though he was seemingly never going to fight again or be able to, and then he overcame that, and I get that consistently from fans that I meet, that that got them through a really hard time in their life. And that's like, that you can't wish for anything better as an actor or an artist, to like know that something that you did has helped someone, or inspired someone. And believe me, not all this stuff I've done has that kind of weight. But yeah, with that, yeah, it's awesome. I get that from so many fans, and it's so gratifying, and just really a nice special exchange between me and the fans when that comes up. When they've gone through a really difficult time in their life, whether it's a loss of someone or an accident and it's made them physically impaired, or a breakup even, or just bullying, suicidal thoughts. Like it's the basket is big and large, and it's all encompassing. Those dark periods in life, which we've all experienced, just in some way, shape, or form. Because life can be hard. And so yeah, to know that Rock Lee, old bushy brow, is helps people get over those humps and past those tough times. That's pretty special.
Yeah, I mean, that's why. So speaking of other Naruto actors, we have had Michael Yurchek on here.
Oh, he's a great guy, man.
Yeah, dude, he was awesome, and he talked well about you too. That's why I reached out.
Nice.
But I was gonna surprise you and get him on here and be like, do a line and be like, look at me, Lee, or something. But he's currently up in the air right now. So Michael, I forgive you for now.
Yeah, dude. We love you, Michael. Yeah, he's actually just dumped one of his kids off at college.
Yeah.
So he's on that journey, and I think on a plane, as you say. But no, Michael's a great guy, and we've been on the circuit quite a bit in the last 2 years together. And fortunately, our agents try to put the Naruto cast together, and we kind of travel as a team. So that's been really fun to get to know Michael so well, because I actually met him back in the late 90s. So even before Naruto, from a whole different life, and some of the Broken Lizard guys, from all that stuff. I'm sure he talked about all that. So so I knew some of those guys through an ex-girlfriend, and so anyway, so our worlds have kind of mixed and matched a few times, but this go has been great. I mean, he and I we often have dinner together when we're on the road, because he's good company.
Yeah. I will, before we get into your voice career, I do want to ask this the same thing that I've asked Michael. We know about Rock Lee, we know about Davis, we know about the roles you play. So let's hear about Brian.
Whoa, nice setup, man. It's a good launch. Yeah, man. About me, well, it's funny because some people say, oh, are you like Rock Lee, and do you like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? And I think sometimes you'll meet an actor and they'll be like that iconic character that you love, and you're like, oh well, it's pretty obvious how and why they got cast. And I don't know if I go that far, but I will say that me as a person, I do try to emulate or personify a lot of Rock Lee's, qualities that I really appreciate, like the determination and never giving up. And one of my favorite things about Rock Lee is leading with a pure heart. He's all heart. And I think most people would describe me that way, which is great because I wouldn't want to lead with pure evil. That would suck.
Right.
And there's plenty of that in the world. So, yeah, but, I think, for me, I guess if it's like, who is Brian Donovan? I was very, 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 very fortunate growing up to be surrounded by just this incredibly mixed bag of humanity. My father was deaf. My sister was born with Down syndrome. My best friend was born with kyphosis, which in layman's terms is very severe hunchback. My other best friend was Black in a very white community in town. My brother years later, but has since come out of the closet and is gay. And so I feel like, and these are labels, of course, which I hate minimizing people to labels because that's an awful thing to do. But for expediency, there's all these beautiful people in my life that represent so many different elements of humanity. And whether you agree with or have trouble with, that's not for me to debate. I don't waste my time and energy with that anymore, because for me, it's all been love. And these people, and many more, but those people inspired me in ways that I can't even articulate. And they've shown me love, and they've shown me what it means to be in this world when things are stacked against you, like Rock Lee. And so I feel very fortunate because I was surrounded by all this remarkable humanity very early on. And so consequently, I felt, whether I knew it or was aware of it or not, I felt like I really needed to step up, and I really needed to not only advocate for them and for disabilities or, whatever, my brother now in the LGBTQ, community, I have taken it upon myself to try to be, that team Rock Lee guy,
Yeah.
and help people that are less fortunate, or help people that need support or a cheerleader or love that they might not be getting from society or whatever. And so, but it's a remarkable fight, even though I think humanity's in a lot of ways have come so far. I also think, in a lot of ways, it's that 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and sometimes it feels like a leap backwards, but that's me. I feel like, I made a film about my little sister and I and our relationship called Kelly's Hollywood, and she, as I said, was born with Down syndrome, and my mission in life was to make sure that she had the best possible life in the world that we live in, and that she was recognized for more than just her disability, for more than the very easy labels that people could put on her. And so that's like kind of become my DNA. But consequently, and as I say in the film, I was like my sister's, superhero, but really she was mine, because she was constantly reminding me what it meant to be a good person, and to make sure that I was in check to be a good person, and to lead with love and good intention and support and cheer for people. And so again, I go back to that kind of mixed basket of humanity, but they constantly remind me, whether they're aware of it or not, what it means to be a good person in this world. And so, I guess going back full circle to Rock Lee and kind of that synergy between, he and I, and that messaging, I do again feel very fortunate, because I think he represents a lot of those things too, and maybe not overtly like, LGBTQ rights or disability advocate, but I think the way he leads his life in the show, is a lot of that. He's representing the one that had no special powers, and he is going to be his best self, and he has cheerleaders like Guy Sensei, and so again, that's all I try to do, and sometimes I'm successful at it, sometimes I'm not, sometimes I'm exhausted by it, sometimes I'm charged by it. It just kind of depends what's happening in the macro world sometimes, but yeah, I guess that's Brian Donovan in a nutshell. I'm just trying to, it's that age old saying, when I'm dead and gone, like, I just hope I made it a better place, and if I didn't, then I fucked it all up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a clap, because that was a good like lesson for a lot of people. And being, because that's what we kind of are with this podcast. We are We are positivity. We're not negativity. We are love, happiness, stuff like that. We don't put anybody down. I don't care who you are or what you believe in. We love you all the same. So that's kind of how we are at cons, in person, everything. Um, and a lot of people say, hey, why are you like that? Well, it's not just because of our team, because we got a bunch of mixed people in the team.
Yeah.
We got people that are bisexual, we got people that are different, we got a lot, and we love every single one of them. And the
Yeah, man.
world is full of hate. So why would we keep making it full of hate if we can
Yeah.
change that? So yeah, we were talking about negativity and stuff and how the world is, and that we pretty much promote positivity on the podcast and we promote things. One thing I do want to tell you from what we were just talking about, going, like, I guess backtracking, I told Michael this as well. I said, this is why when you were saying as Rock Lee, oh snap, when you were saying as Rock Lee, you have a connection with fans and you talk to them about, their loved one passing or depression or whatever. That is exactly why I never, and nor will I ever, rush somebody when they're meeting a celebrity, because I don't know what they're going through. And if they have 5 minutes of like that pure ecstasy to have them there and be like, you were the reason, I'm still alive today, then who
Yeah.
am I? So I had one lady apologize to me when she met Matt Lewis, I think is his name, from Harry Potter. She's like, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. I'm like, take your time. Have your 5 minutes of spotlight. I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's funny. I mean, I often joke that I'm glad my line is not as long as Miley's, who plays Naruto,
Yeah.
because it does afford me the luxury to spend more time with, individual fans. And, I would feel more self-conscious and maybe probably more rushed if, there was 50 people behind, the person I'm talking to always. And, I've had a line here and there, but it's never been 50 deep. And so I do feel bad because and Miley gives as much as you can with those kind of lines, and most everybody does. But yeah, I mean, I have to say, like, there is a positive aspect of not being as popular as Miley or Sasuke. And as I get a lot of time with the fans typically, and even if there's a line, most people are really supportive, and mine's never, more than an hour, as opposed to like some of those crazy 4 to 6 hours, where you're in line almost the whole day at the con. And so, it's great because I wouldn't be able to do it without having that kind of exchange and connection with the fans. Like it would be soulless to me, and that's been, I have to say, one of the huge perks and surprises, I guess, to have found that, because I kind of always shied for cons because I wasn't, I was just always afraid that a fan would come up to me and ask me, like in episode 262, when blah, blah, and I'd be like, oh, dude, I don't even remember what I had for breakfast, yesterday. I mean, I was like, what do you mean 262? And some of the iconic stuff, as we've already mentioned, the fights and, some of the bigger things, of course, you remember. But, sometimes you do get that obscure question. I'm like, oh my God, I have no idea. And I was always really nervous about that because I didn't want to be, it was almost like the veil was coming off. Like, I'm a fake, I'm a fraud, I don't really know Rock Lee, I don't know what Rock Lee had for breakfast the other day, but, I can certainly tell you about his spirit. And so once I realized that I could, the messaging and the connection could be through, kind of the things that we're talking about right now, just that human element, that connection, that humanity, then that's been like the honey, man. That's been the honey. And without being able to really get in there, yeah, it wouldn't be worth it to me because I just couldn't. I mean, sure, you could argue financially, of course, it's like, it's part of how we make a living now, but yeah, it would be soulless, and I wouldn't be able to do it very much, without that connection, because that's what, I mean, honestly, and Michael might have mentioned this too, but that's the stuff that we talk about when we get back on the plane, or when we're having dinner, before we get on the plane, it's like, it's those exchanges and it's those stories that we recount, that people have shared with us, and that's, again, that's the honey. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I keep thinking to myself, and I've thought about this since we started, yes, it's all about positivity. And while we may not change the world, the fact remains that you're going to run across somebody, even if it's just one person, you can make their day better. And if that's, what we do, if we manage to make one person have a better day and forget their troubles for a while, to me, it's well worth it.
Absolutely, man. I mean, look, we've all been to the darker places of like frustration of like, oh my God, am I making an impact, or have I done anything, good, or when the world's really dark and you're like, oh my God, like is evil winning, is darkness descending upon all of us, and those are tough days, but in general, absolutely. I mean, I have seen the magic and the miracle of those ripples that you're talking about, those little impacts that you have. And often you don't even know you're having that impact, right? It's like the
Yeah.
teacher, it's the teacher thing, the Mr. Holland's Opus. I don't know if you ever saw that film from way back, but it was like, it's about a teacher that had no idea how he impacted his students. And then when he finally retires, the whole school assembles and like all these stories come up, and generations of past come to celebrate his retirement and just tell him how much he changed their life. And he had no idea in real time. And most often we don't. But you're absolutely right. If we go out there and whatever it is, I was listening to this guy and I didn't know who he was, but he must have been famous, but I didn't know who he was. And he's not in my circle of awareness of fame, but he was talking about how when he travels, he must be a stand-up. I think he's a stand-up, but when he travels, he said, I lost my mom. And so now I go when I travel. One of the things I like to do is treat women, my moms would be my mom's age, right? 70 plus, to breakfast. If I see them eating breakfast, I'll just pay their tab. And sometimes it can be a little weird, right, for them. And then they're uncomfortable. But he said, I have to do it. Like it's my thing now. And more often than not, 99% of the time, it creates this incredible connection between me and these women. And he said, and just 3 days ago, he goes, I did it. And I'm not even at the point where I'm comfortable, like so comfortable doing it now. Like I still like go, oh my God, here I gotta break this wall, right, of between people. But he said the woman immediately, one of the women, it was three women. He said one of the women immediately started crying, and she gave me a hug. Like I was so taken aback, and she said, "I just lost my son, who is about your age." I was starting to well up, man. But it was this beautiful moment that they had, that they just started just crying and hugging and then having breakfast together because of this silly little thing he started doing, right? But it was that beautiful connection that he made and has made with other women, but this woman specifically, because he lost his mom, she lost her son, and they like, and that shit is, man, that's what makes the world go round. And you just never know. You just never know. But yeah, you got to share your light, man. You got to share your light.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's too much darkness in the world to hide in light.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's because Tank, you are the darkness.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
No, but I totally agree, man. I mean, I kind of have a similar story. I ended up meeting this older lady at McDonald's
Yeah.
and didn't know anything about her. This is when I was like 18 or so, 19. And I met her and we just started talking. I don't know what she saw in me. I don't know what was going on. I just know that she seemed really nice. And so I sat down at this big table with her and her older friends and we just talked, and she was absolutely amazing. Come to find out, maybe a couple years back, I would always go visit her at her home, like, a simple McDonald's hello. I ended up going to her house, making sure she was good, having food with her sometimes. And come to find out she has dementia. I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
And she went to a nursing home. So I haven't heard from her since, and I don't think she fully remembers me. But
Yeah.
it's still that fact that I had that moment with her and I have those memories with her. So you know, it could just be a simple hello, let me get you a coffee at McDonald's, and it's that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, and we see enough of those stories, which is beautiful. And I try to surround myself with those kind of stories. You know, like I try to, my Insta feed is good news. Whatever. There's a bunch of them, but just like those good news, feeds, and I try to follow those people, or those I don't know, if they're people or whatever, whoever's running them, but just these good news stories, and that's where I found that comic, who just does that. And that does make a difference, because if you're surrounding yourself with dark or news feeds of like just the shit in the world, that penetrates, and it's like,
Yeah.
it just penetrates. And also there's good ones, well, the bad ones too, unfortunately, but the good ones do remind you, that, of these little things that you can do, or they do remind you that life is not just all this darkness, which you can feel sometimes, if that's all that's surrounding you. And it creates a spark, it creates a spark or that ripple. And then that ripple goes to the next thing, and I'll talk about you dudes today, and you're going to talk about me a little bit today when we get done. And even just that little ripple in the exchange that we've had, and however long it becomes, 45 minutes to an hour, that ripple's real. I'm very fortunate because I'm able to speak and motivational speak based on the documentary I did, and I infuse it with Rock Lee and a lot of that stuff too. But I do believe in that ripple, and I tell people all the time about this story about how I was floating. I love to swim too. I love water, but I mean, I love to float. Like, that's my thing. Like, I love to, like, kind of a dead body, hold my breath, and I float in a pool. So I'm just still. I'm so still, and it's quiet, and I'm weightless, and it's just so glorious to me, So I do that, and one day about 10 years ago, I opened my eyes, and it was a beautiful sunny day, and I was at my mom. She lives in a complex with a pool, so like that's when I do it. And it was a beautiful sunny day, and I see my silhouette at the bottom of this pool, and it's a 9-foot pool, and so I see it down there at the bottom of the pool, and I'm so still, like I'm barely breathing, and there's this ripple coming from my body, like a sonar, and a beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
Just looking, and I'm mesmerized, and I'm just like, what the? And then of course I realize it's my heartbeat, because I'm so still. That vibration from my heart is just boom, spreading, spreading, spreading. And so when I speak, I talk about that moment, and that time where I realize that no matter how still we are emitting an energy, and where we choose to direct that energy is ultimately who we become. And I think, like, I always try to remember that, but I always try to kind of say that story for that reason, just to remind people, especially kids, that where you put your energy is who you're going to become. And you are always putting energy in the world, even in your stillest state. And that's important to remember, because just all that shenanigans or bullshit that you think no one's seeing, or negative crap like that stuff, that's a ripple too. So
I'm still working on that. I got a lot of work to do from the depressing negative part of me, I guess. So
hey man, look, dude. I like Rock Lee this dude's on my desk for a reason. He reminds me of the same shit you just said. It's like we're all trying, dude, and that's all we can do is try. It's all we can do, man, because we're all fighting. We all have a dichotomy, man. We all have a darkness, or we can all dabble in that shit, dude. And we've all had some shit hit us hard, but that's why he's on my desk, man. It's to remind me, like he reminds a lot of the people maybe listening and the fans of Rock Lee, of like, never give up. That's all we can do. Or there's a fitness guru, Tony Horton, who says, do your best and forget the rest. And that's all we can do, man. We do our fucking best, and we got to forget the rest, because that shit will anchor you down. And no, man, you gotta cut those chains. You got to do your best, try your hardest, and never give up. You just got to keep getting up, and don't berate yourself too much. In fact, we spend too much time doing that shit. We should be patting ourselves on the back and hugging ourselves and giving us, we should be as compassionate as we are, to these other people in our lives, because we often forget ourselves. It's like we spend so much time in that toxicity and those negative thoughts, and berating ourselves, and we're not good enough, and we're not, nah, yeah, man. Like it's no, you gotta love yourself, dude. So do me a favor when you're brushing teeth or laying on your pillow, you picture this little dude right on your chest, talking you through it, Jay. Never give up, baby. Never give up. Do your best, forget the rest.
So do
Yeah,
I just
man.
imagine that voice and I'm like, all right, Lee.
Yeah,
Is that what
that's right. That's exactly right. Guy sensei. Yeah, there it is, man. But I mean, that is right.
Yeah.
That's the storyline. I mean,
Yeah.
that is it. I mean, Guy Sensei and Rock Lee, they were wacky as can be, but you know, it was just cheering each other on or reminding each other. You know, yeah, you just get back up, man. Get back up, and you know the gift of perseverance, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all you got to ask of yourself is just persevere, carry on, do your best, learn from your mistakes, you know, etc.
Yeah.
You are listening to you
There's a saying, like we had a guest, I think he said it best. We are our own worst critic. And there's a
Yeah.
saying that goes, ships don't sink from the water around them, they sink from what gets inside.
Ah, beautiful. That's right.
So
That's
if we
exactly
can
right.
focus on ourselves a little bit, you know, and fight away the negative thoughts, then I mean, hey, who knows?
Yeah. No, it's exactly right. And look, you gotta, I mean, you know, as Rock Lee also illustrates and personifies, is you know, you gotta work hard. Like you know, you can't just magically think this shit's gonna go away or the bad part of you is gonna dissipate and disappear because you wish it were or whatever. You know, no, it doesn't work like that. I mean, it's hard fucking work. You know, it's you gotta do the work. I mean, there's no question
Yeah.
about it. You got to do the work. And I tell everyone, whether it's a goal, something they want to change about themselves, or you know the dreams they have, yeah, that's awesome. Dreams, goals, being better are awesome, but it comes with a lot of work. And so yeah, you gotta strap those boots, you know, break the sweat. And you know, if there's something that you want, or something you want to change about yourself, then yeah, you got to do the work. You can't just wish it away. It doesn't work that way, as we know. But if you're willing to do the work, I mean, I've seen miracles, man. I mean, I really have, without getting too like crazy, but I have seen dreams come true. I've seen miracles. I've seen people change their lives. We all have. And, you know, and Rock Lee, Rock Lee did too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was like kind of like you said, man, could have been just another ninja in the background, and he worked and persevered, and he was like, hey, you said I'm never going to fight again. Let me show you a
Yeah.
few things.
Yeah. Yeah. And he could have crumbled, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we know that he could have crumbled.
Yep.
And a lot of people do. But again, you know, he wasn't going to allow himself that.
Right.
And that's an amazing quality. You know, even though we're talking animation, it's you know, but that's also why I think some of these anime hits and the big ones, you know, have done so well, as they really are incredibly well written. You know, they have amazing story arcs, and they have wonderful archetypes, but also the nuances of all the things in between archetypes of characters, and they do well for a reason. You know, I saw that Samuel L. Jackson, who's he trying to convince? I mean, his show is One Piece, but Samuel L. Jackson, who's like, you know, the dude, he's amazing and he's been around forever and he's an old fart. But he was like talking about One Piece recently, and he was like, "Wait, you've never seen anime?" He was like, "It's incredible. Like the stories are incredible, the characters are incredible, you know." And it's true. They're really, I mean, the good ones are really well written, and that's why the fan bases transcend, and they, you know, and these things are so big, because they really are. They kind of tick a lot of boxes, and I think there's some, you know, everyone can relate to someone on a big show like Naruto because there's so many characters, and you know, the best of themselves or the worst, you know, but they can relate to some degree, and that helps people get through it, you know, because it's almost like AA, right? Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, it's knowing that you're not alone where you're fighting through your
Yeah.
demon, you know.
Yeah.
And knowing that you only have so much control, but you're not alone, you know. And I think, again, going back to the beauty of cons, I think that's part of it too. Is like people have found community. They've realized that they're not alone. I mean, shit, I don't know if you guys remember, but I mean, you know, 10 years ago, even just 10 years ago, you know, we were the nerdy dudes, you know, like no one talked about anime. No one even admitted they watched anime, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and now it's like, here we are, like we're in the pop culture, like, you know,
Yeah.
we're the ones that, you know, whatever I say we, but you know what I mean? I mean, it's like, so yeah, I mean, there's some real beauty to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, dude, I can't agree more. I was just talking to Tank about this. That when we were kids in middle school and high school, okay, you can laugh at me, folks, y'all can laugh at me, but look, I was the kid in middle school that was like doing like this, boom, 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 and I could
Yeah,
I
baby.
got all the hand signs down. Okay, I could watch
Yeah,
Naruto and figure it out, and I was the one that did the Naruto run in school, and
yeah.
and with that being said, I got shoved into a locker, got swirlies, I got all that. And now, you know, Tank and I are now older in our 30s, and here we are, and we see these kids, dude, Naruto's the best, or Bleach is the best, or Yu Yu Hakusho, and that's cool, and My Hero Academia. And I'm like, where was this shit?
Where were you when I was a kid?
Right.
Yeah, man. No, I know, dude. I know. Things, I mean, sometimes things change eventually, but sometimes they don't change quick enough.
Yeah. Ain't
Well,
that the
see,
truth?
that's one of the beautiful things about it, though, because you know, out in the world, you might run across somebody you've never talked to, but you go to a con and there's that exact same person in line with you to meet, you know, Austin St. John or you or Michael or whoever, and then you strike up a conversation. You come to find out there's not that much different between y'all.
No, that's exactly right, man. We are, as the famous saying goes, we're more alike than different, you know. And I think we need to remind ourselves of that, you know, because we're in a very polarizing time, and people have, you know, really latched on to, like, you know, just this fight and this divergence, and it's just heartbreaking, because really at the end of the day, if you strip all away, you know, some of the sound bites and all the loudest person in the room nonsense, you know, really we all want very similar things: love,
Yeah,
acceptance, purpose, you know. Yeah, it's just, it's crazy. But somehow, you know, media and politicians and even religion, for that, to some degree, has just I don't know, tried to separate us in some ways. And it just breaks my heart, because it's, you know, it's just, we're really, really similar.
Yeah.
We really, at the core of who we are, we just want to be loved, man, you know, and recognized. We want to know that we're here for a reason, that people want us here, and that, you know, that people know that we exist, you know, and that they care about us and we care about them. That connectivity that I was talking about. And often it's just exposure, you know. It's exposure. It's like you saying, you know, when you're in line and you're meeting someone that, you know, you might not have come across for whatever reason, you know, in your, you know, typical life or outside of the con life. But, you know, all of a sudden you're striking up a conversation, you know, with someone that's just so different than you, but you're like, wow, they're just a good, beautiful human just trying to get through it too, you know. It's
yeah.
just, you know.
If
Yeah.
only everybody would realize that.
Yeah.
Well, that's up to us, you know. That's part of our job, right? It's part of us that, you know, that recognize this stuff, and that, you know, we become the peaceful warriors, and we try to, you know, spread that ripple and remind people, you know, especially when we see, you know, not so nice things happen in the world. You know, you got to call people on it. I mean, unless of course they're wielding a, you know, gun or knife or something lethal. But, you know, you say something.
That's when you do the leaf hurricane on them.
That's right, baby. That's right. Hold on. I think I got an illustration for that too. Yeah. You turn into that.
Yeah. Look, dude, if you
Your
turned into
bullets,
that, I would be like, well, you have a nice day, sir.
Yeah.
your bullets are no match for the 8 gates.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Um,
Anyway, boys, I don't want to get cut off again, because I know we're limited for time, and I have to scoot for my boys. But
okay. Well,
but
I
is
guess,
there any, do you guys want to do a round, a quick fire round? Any other questions lingering or otherwise,
Yes.
or burning passionate questions? We can do a quick lightning round if you want.
okay, I got one comment and a couple more questions, or couple,
sure.
like 3 more.
Yeah.
All right. Number one comment. I want you to know that Rock Lee inspired me because when I would go to fight, I would do like this and put one hand behind my back. I was ready to go, dude. And of course, I would always lose the fight, but I tried.
That's awesome, man.
So, number 2, if you want to, would you be willing to follow us?
Oh, yeah, shoot. I'm not doing that. Wait a minute. Hold on. Of course I
He
can.
said, hold on.
Hold on. I'm doing it in real time. Wait a minute. I thought I
Oh
was.
snap!
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap. Hold on.
I love that.
Oh, dudes, I am so sorry, man.
Oh, dude, you're fine.
Following. Can you see that? Hold on.
Boom.
Boom.
I just got the notification.
I am
And
following.
I guess the last thing, unless Tank wants to say anything or ask anything, is do you think you can do Lee's voice and maybe tell people to follow us?
Yeah, I can try.
If you
Hold
don't
on.
want to, that is fine, man. That's fine.
All right, ready? I got my little figurine.
Okay.
I'm the handsome devil of the Hidden Lake Village, but you should follow the Hesitation Station. They are awesome. Or, as Rock Lee would say, they rock. Leaf Hurricane.
Yes. I love it.
Now, before you go, do you want to shout out your socials and everything so people can follow you?
It's really simple, man. I mean, it's Brian Donovan _1. I got my little baby who's not a baby anymore in my hands, and Instagram is probably the one I use the most, especially for this world. So, but yeah, please follow me if you feel so inclined. I also let people know what cons I'm coming up and things I'm doing next. So, if you're interested, it's on there typically. And, if you feel like 82 minutes of love and life and a reminder why we're all here, I made a documentary, as I mentioned on the show earlier, about my little sister, Kelly. It's called Kelly's Hollywood. I have a visual for that, too. That's my little sister and I. She is my soulmate. And anyway, it's an award-winning documentary on Prime Video. And it's, make popcorn, man. It's a love story, and it's I'm very proud of it. And you won't waste any time, I promise. You'll leave happier and your heart pumping a little stronger after you see it. My sister is a very, very funny protagonist and engaging as hell. So fun. And it's also got a little Digimon in there. In fact, Digimon made the cut. And it's all about dreams coming true. Like, we're all here for a reason, and believing in that, believing in yourself. But yeah, that's it, boys. Thank you so much, Jay, Tank. Can't thank you enough, man. It's great to meet you guys.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome to meet you and talk to you, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, well, right back at you. I'll leave you with this quote from Rock Lee. It's one of my favorites. Always remember, a hero is not one who never falls. They are the one who get up again and again, never losing sight of their dreams. So to you and all your dreams coming true, boys, and everyone else listening, all my best. And I know they will if you personify the best of old Bushy Brow. All right, boys. Take care, man.
Be
safe out there.
Hope to see you at a con, man.
You will.
Oh, yeah.
All right, boys. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on. Tank, how'd you feel about that?
Dude, I was straight up about to leave. I was like, oh, wait, we have to do the outro.
Anyway, oh, man, my head is red from worrying. Okay. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please follow us on all of our socials. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're on everything now. So if you want to maybe mention anything in the comments or who we should reach out to next, just something, please let us know. Tank, you got anything to add?
No, I'm good, man. It's been a blast.
Yeah, it was awesome. We have plenty coming out for you guys. I think this will air a little later, so we will still be getting geared up for September 24th and 25th for Alabama Con. So look for us there. Bring me a pizza.
Wrong.
What?
Wrong.
What is it?
23rd and 24th.
Oh, 23rd, well, whatever. Okay. We will be at the Alabama Comic-Con. Make sure you bring me a pizza. Pepperoni, Little Caesars. I'll be happy with that. So, all right, guys.
I hope somebody does so I can die laughing.
All right, guys. Much love. Jay and Tank out.
Deuces.
Attention passengers, this is your conductor speaking. We are departing the hesitation station. Please stand clear of the closing doors.